Good evening from Washington. Tonight, a striking statement from President Donald Trump has captured headlines and raised urgent questions about US military operations far beyond its borders. In his own words, he says American forces shot out a drug-carrying boat that had left Venezuela. The president's choice of language, blunt, direct and dramatic, left little ambiguity about what he wanted the public to take away. A message of action, strength and decisive intervention. In remarks delivered at the White House, Trump declared, "We just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat." And you'll be seeing that and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago. He went on to praise the role of his top general, the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, linking the operation not only to America's ongoing fight against narcotics, but also to broader US security actions, even referencing prior strikes that he claimed disrupted Iran's nuclear ambitions. The tone was unmistakable. The US, in Trump's telling, is on offense and is prepared to act unilaterally. To understand the weight of this moment, it is important to place it in context. For years, Washington has accused Venezuela of acting as a central hub for narcotics shipments headed north. Intelligence reports have consistently suggested that a significant portion of cocaine flowing into the United States passes through Venezuelan territory or its surrounding waters. Officials have accused elements within Venezuela's own government and military of aiding these networks, which American authorities call the cartel of the suns. Caracas has always denied these allegations, insisting that Washington fabricates evidence to justify pressure, sanctions and interference. Yet this announcement, made casually from a White House podium, suggests a sharp escalation. Trump's words point to a direct military strike, the destruction of a vessel at sea, and a message that more such actions may be coming. He emphasized, and there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. So we took it out. The timing of this declaration could not be more critical. US-Venezuela relations are already at a breaking point. President Nicolas Maduro has recently deepened defense ties with both Russia and China, inviting military advisors, signing new agreements, and openly presenting himself as part of a global counterweight to American power. Trump's decision to reference Iran in the same breath as Venezuela underscores the worldview his administration is presenting, that America faces interconnected threats spanning Latin America, the Middle East, and Eurasia. Domestically, this announcement will resonate with Trump's supporters, who have long heard him tie the fight against illegal drugs to broader themes of border security, sovereignty, and national strength. His phrasing, "we took it out," was blunt and unfiltered, qualities that his base sees as proof of decisive leadership. For them, this is a president taking bold action to protect American communities from what he frames as an endless flow of narcotics. But critics have already begun to ask hard questions. What exactly does it mean to shoot out a boat? Where did this happen? Was it in international waters or within Venezuelan territory? Did US forces act under the cover of international law, or was this a unilateral strike without precedent? Experts warn that if this occurred in Venezuelan waters, it could represent a breach of sovereignty and escalate tensions dramatically. Trump's casual framing, a matter of minutes, a matter of fact, leaves these legal and diplomatic questions wide open. Beyond the law, the humanitarian and regional implications are vast. Venezuela is already mired in one of the worst humanitarian crises of the modern era. Over 7 million Venezuelans have fled their country in recent years, straining neighboring states across Latin America. Food and medicine shortages continue to plague those who remain. Against this backdrop, an American military strike, even one aimed at narcotics, risks being interpreted in Caracas as not just counter-narcotics enforcement, but as part of a deliberate strategy to weaken or destabilize the Venezuelan government itself. For Maduro, such an incident could be politically useful. Rallying nationalist sentiment against an external enemy has long been a tool for embattled leaders, and Washington's actions might provide just the narrative he seeks. His government can claim that the US is violating sovereignty, using force without accountability and ignoring international institutions. This, in turn, could drive Caracas closer still to Moscow and Beijing, entrenching the very alliances the US hopes to deter. The ripple effects extend far beyond the Caribbean. In international diplomacy, moments like this are rarely isolated. If Washington begins taking direct military action against alleged drug shipments from Venezuela, what message does that send to other countries accused of tolerating or facilitating narcotics flows? Does it create a precedent for strikes elsewhere without due process or multinational oversight? Or does it reinforce an image of an America willing to act alone regardless of the consequences? Trump's words also force a reckoning at home. America's war on drugs has stretched across decades through multiple administrations, costing billions of dollars and countless lives. Yet narcotics continue to flow across borders, fueling addiction crises in cities and towns nationwide. By publicizing this strike in such stark terms, the president appears intent on framing it not merely as an interdiction, but as a symbolic act, proof that the government is literally willing to shoot out the vessels that carry the poison. It is rhetoric designed to resonate on television, in headlines, and on the campaign trail. But the simplicity of the message, "We took it out," belies the complexity of the situation. Drugs are not moved by a single boat, nor supplied by a single state. They are part of vast multinational networks involving criminal cartels, corrupt officials, and global demand. Experts in counter-narcotics argue that while high-profile strikes may grab headlines, they rarely dismantle the underlying systems. Instead, they risk driving smugglers to adapt, to shift routes, and to continue operations through different channels. As the dust settles on tonight's remarks, several questions remain unanswered. Where exactly did this incident occur? Was the vessel destroyed, seized, or sunk? Were arrests made or evidence recovered? Will the US release images, as Trump promised the public would, be seeing what happened? And perhaps most importantly, what rules, if any, govern such operations when they take place so far beyond American shores? For allies watching abroad, the implications are sobering. Latin American nations, already under strain from Venezuela's crisis, will be wary of being caught in the crossfire of Washington's hardline approach. European partners, many of whom are cautious about military interventions, may raise concerns over legality and proportionality. And adversaries, from Caracas to Moscow to Tehran, will seize upon the president's words to accuse the United States of acting as a law unto itself. In the end, what happened to one drug-laden boat may prove less important than what Trump's words reveal about his administration's strategy: a willingness to act unilaterally, a determination to frame foreign policy through the lens of domestic politics, and a belief that decisive, headline-grabbing actions, however controversial, demonstrate strength both to the American people and to the world. As with so many of Donald Trump's declarations, tonight's statement raises as many questions as it answers. What precisely did US forces do in the waters off Venezuela? How far is Washington prepared to go in targeting narcotics networks it links to hostile states? And what consequences might such actions carry for international law, for regional stability, and for America's credibility abroad? What is certain is that the president's words will echo. We just shot out a boat, so we took it out. A soundbite designed to make headlines, but one whose reverberations may be felt from Caracas to New York, from the Caribbean Sea to the halls of the United Nations. Good evening. From Washington, this is the story of one boat, one announcement, and a world now left to measure its consequences.
We just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing. And you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out.